I am Brynna Morgan. I'm a student at Hamlin University. I'm a senior, and I do the sexual violence survey. I helped co-create it with Elena and Kristen.
Yeah, I'm Elena Anderson. I'm also a senior here, and yeah, we've been doing this work for 3 years along with our professor, Dr. Kristen Maple-Bloomberg.
So we had a few different motivations to really create the survey. The first was that through this student group, Students Preventing Sexual Violence, we learned about the Clery Act, which requires colleges to report incidents of sexual violence, but also incidents of like drinking, fire hazards, arson, murder. So it encapsulates a lot of information. It's not specific just to sexual violence. And also the sexual violence incidents that are portrayed in the Clery report are only ones that have been officially reported to the institution and only ones that occurred on the physical campus. And so we saw this as not the complete picture of sexual violence at Hamlin. We thought that the acts that happen off campus between two students are just as important. So we wanted to create something that was more comprehensive.
Kind of grew from just learning about incidents that happen both on and off campus to also how can we measure knowledge and just general climate on Hamlin's campus about what students know about sexual violence, the reporting procedures, the reporting policies, the supportive resources, everything like that. So we sort of expanded from knowing about not just incidents, but also general knowledge of the population too. A lot of work was put into putting the survey together in a way that would be really as safe as possible for the population that we were trying to access, knowing that there are specific sort of best practices for vulnerable populations if you're doing sociological studies of them or social studies of them.
During our second year of putting this out, I did a lit review of kind of what the big problem is with sexual violence on college campus, what the big catalysts are, why it happens so prevalently on so many campuses. And so that lit review really informed kind of what we wanted to do going forward. So we included more questions that were kind of targeted around when alcohol is used to facilitate a sexual assault, because that's very common. It's used as a tool to promote it, and so that's really unfortunate, and we wanted to kind of shine a light on that because we thought that was an important aspect, especially in terms of the prevention side, having the messaging be you can't do this to someone if they are drunk. Right. So
we've asked things, added questions like if the person was green dot trained, and that can kind of give some knowledge too into how green dot training can affect people's knowledge of policies and procedures and things like that, and yeah. Just add in sort of anything that would fill in some of the gaps in the knowledge that we found each year.
So we've seen so many prevention efforts happen as a result of our data, but we haven't seen that big change yet in the rate of it happening. And I think that shows that we have a lot more work to do here specifically to make students safer. And yeah.
It's really important to us that we have a sample that's really representative of Hamlin's population. So in order for our data to be significant, we had to get 10% of the undergraduate population. Each year we've gotten about 25%. So that's more than double what we needed. So our data ends up being really significant, but that comes because we've partnered really well with student organizations, different departments have really helped us out and things like that. So it's really important to us to get that diverse array of respondents in terms of demographics and just in general for what students know. So we don't necessarily only want the students who feel like they have a story to share or like they have a lot of knowledge around this topic. We need students who feel like I don't really have anything to say about this or I've never learned about this. That data is really just as important as the other data. So anyone should take the survey in order to really show what the full picture of what students know and what they're experiencing at Hamlin. A point that we've always really driven home and really what motivated us from the start was that we really love our school. We care about this campus, and that's why we do this work. We don't do this work to be antagonistic towards the administration, towards any student group, towards anyone. We do this work because we really care about this campus and this community, and we think that we have the potential to be better than we are. Although we're average, we match up with national averages in terms of rates pretty much identically, but I think that we care about Hamlin so much that we know that we have the potential to be better, and we've just been pushing for that consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been truly heartbreaking to see a lot of the results that we've seen over the past few years. It's hard to watch the responses come in and like do the data analysis and all of that because you just know that this is something that touches the lives of so many people, but that's really why we keep doing it. That's why we didn't stop after our first year. It's because we know that there's still stories that need to be told, and I mean, survivors need to be listened to. I think there is some fear around acknowledging sexual violence because people think that maybe students won't come to Hamlin then, or that they will be scared to be on campus. And I think the more scary thing for me as a current student is when the university ignores it, because then you don't feel supported by your institution. You don't feel like this is a safe place to be if there's silence around it. And if we start talking about it and saying, how are we going to fix this, and recognizing that it's a problem, that's when like students are going to understand that their university cares about them. And so that's what we're pushing for, honestly. Yeah, yeah, we have a little website. It's thecampusclimatesurvey.wordpress.com. So, and there will be results on there, and there's also a link to the survey on that page too.